It's story time! Welcome, bookworms! Today's story is brought to you by the ArcelorMittal Science Centre together with English Attack Early Literacy Project. The story is entitled A Wish Come True, written by Priya Bisundar. Once upon a time, there lived a very rich, kind, humble man named Mr. Nkosi. He lived in a beautiful house with his lovely wife, Agnes. Unfortunately, Mr. Nkosi was obsessed with money. Even though he was very rich, he thought that having even more money would grant him the greatest happiness of all time. He was so greedy that he spent his days counting his money and thinking of other ways he could make even more. One afternoon, he decided to go for a drive in his new car. While driving, he spotted a homeless man lying fast asleep under a tree. Being the kind, thoughtful man that he was, Mr. Nkosi stopped the car. He made his way towards the poor man who was still asleep. He knelt down, placed his hand on the man's shoulder and asked, "Can I get you some food, sir?" The man opened his eyes in shock. Thinking he was in trouble, in fear, and in a hurry, the beggar replied, I'm very sorry. I will leave now." Mr. Nkosi stopped him and said, "I insist that you come with me. You need some care and attention." The man was astonished by the humility and respect shown towards him, especially since this was the first time a person has shown so much of concern and consideration towards him. The kind Mr. Nkosi drove the homeless man to his home. He arranged for the beggar to get cleaned up and clothed in new, fresh, clean clothes. He was then served a piping hot, delicious, balanced meal before he left with a smile. That evening, while Mr. Nkosi was taking a walk outside, an angel who was very grateful for his kindness appeared before him. She smiled at him and said, "I have seen the goodness within your heart when you helped a person in need today. For that good deed, I promise to grant you any wish you may have." Mr. Nkosi thought for a while and then said, "I wish that everything I touch turns into money." The angel warned him to think again about the wish, but Mr. Nkosi was positive. The angel could not do anything else and promised him that from the next day, everything he touched would turn into money. The following day, Mr. Nkosi woke up anxious to find out if his wish was going to become true. He touched a chair that immediately turned into money before his eyes. Mr. Nkosi jumped for joy and could not believe what was happening. He touched a table, the door, his car, and so he kept on touching things all over his home until he grew exhausted and very happy at the same time. He sat at the breakfast table, picked up a freshly baked cake to enjoy, and when he touched it, the cake turned into money. Without even thinking, he picked up a glass of water, and the same happened. At that moment, he suddenly became deeply afraid. His eyes filled with tears, and at that moment, his wife decided to join him at breakfast. When Mr. Nkosi hugged his wife Agnes, she turned into money that fell to the floor. Desperate and filled with regret, he clasped his hands together and called out to the angel. The angel once again appeared before Mr. Nkosi. She took pity on him and rid him of this curse. From that moment on, everything he touched became normal again. Mr. Nkosi hugged his wife happily and decided to share his great fortune with the people in the community by opening a shelter for the homeless and feeding the needy. From that day onwards, Mr. Nkosi became a better person, more generous, and much more grateful for all the little, most important things in his life. The end. Wow! Wasn't that an amazing story? I hope you enjoyed our story today, bookworms. See you again soon.